Hi guys, DRUMKIT here for Real Home Studio. Now, if you're a songwriter, it wasn't so long ago that if you wanted to record a band demo, you were going to have to get a band together, teach them the song, go down to your local recording studio, buy them a whole bunch of cash and hope for the best. Now, of course, these days with the advances of technology, we can use virtual instruments to make our own band recordings from the comfort of our own home and totally on our own. And whilst in the words of Mick Fleetwood, it might not be half as much fun as actually having a band together, boy is it useful. So if you want that full band sound, but you want to record from the comfort of your own home, here are some of my absolute favourite virtual instruments. Some are free, some are paid for. Let's go. And just before we dive straight in, I want to remind you to please like and subscribe. If you've got something to say, then please do drop it in the comments box below. And one more thing I want to add is that these are my favourites, the plugins which I use a lot when I'm doing band type recordings. But of course, you guys are going to have your favourites too. Please do drop them in the comments box below. It really does help out people who are checking out this video, particularly beginners who don't quite know where to start. Okay, so let's dive straight in with drums. If you haven't got much money to spend, or indeed you're starting out and feeling the ropes of drum programming, MT Power Drum Kit 2 is a great place to start if you're looking for rock or indie rock drums. It's just one kit, but it's got a great feel, the program, and it's very intuitive to use, and it's very reminiscent of the paid-for programs as well. So it's going to get you really used to how to sequence with drum sequences as well. It's a really nice interface, and it sounds great, particularly if you're looking for rock and indie rock. Then this is a great place to start. It's absolutely free. I think it originally was made to be a paid program, so it very much has got that paid for quality about it. So I absolutely recommend grabbing yourself a copy. It's free to download. It's a great little program to get you used to programming drums. Great for demos, rock, indie rock, that kind of sound, that kind of vibe. This is a great way to go to get started. But of course, if you want to upgrade, you want to have better quality sounds and generally a better quality program all round, then my personal favourite, has been for years, is from Excellent Audio, and it's Addictive Drums 2. It just simply sounds great off the bat. You can really dive in there and do so much within the program. It's very powerful. It's a lot of fun. There's absolutely loads of drum kits, loads of MIDI packs as well, and bundles and ways to expand. But ultimately, it just sounds great. It sounds like a really brilliantly recorded drum kit. Now, there are loads of other ones out there which sound great. If you're using a drum program and you want to recommend it, please do drop it in the comments box below. As I said, Excellent Audio's Addictive Drums 2 is just one which I've been using back from the early days, and I love it. And finally, if you want a less real sound, you're going for a drum machine sound, I've very recently reviewed Drum Pro from Studio Linked. It's a bundle of, I think it's 20 different drum machines. It's got a lot of hip hop kits in there. It's got some trap stuff, and it's got some classic drum machines as well, like the 808 and the 909. It's absolutely free. Much like MT Power Drum Kit, it's got that premium feel about it. There are a few extra bundles which you can pay to get on there, but the whole thing's just laden with loads of good drum machine sounds. It's pretty editable as well. You can play around with the faders and the pannings. There's quite a lot you can do there too, and the sounds are great. This one again is absolutely free, and it sounds really well drum pro. So well recommend if you're looking for drum machine sounds. That's a great way to go. And moving on to bass guitar. Now, if you don't own a bass guitar, you might be thinking where you're going to go with this. Ample Sounds is the direction I'm going to put you in, both for a free version and for a paid version. They offer a light version of their precision bass emulation. It sounds just great. I've done a review for that on this channel. Well worth grabbing. It's very realistic. You're going to get those bass guitar sounds down really easily too. It's very nice to use, a very attractive GUI. And the upgrade of the paid version is also well worth the money. I use it all the time. I own a bass guitar, but for ease of use, Ample Sounds is just fantastic, and it sounds just great. Moving on to guitar. Now, if you don't play guitar, I'm going to stick with Ample Sounds. They have a great range of acoustic and electric guitars which sound astonishingly good. They have a light free version, again, much like with the bass, for their Martin acoustic guitar, which is well worth checking out. And I believe all of their plugins you can trial for 7 days absolutely free. They sound fantastic, and they're very intuitive to use once you get used to using them, and they sound just great, very realistic. Of course, if you do play, my personal favorite when looking at electric guitars is SCUFFHAM amps. I really like their vintage tones which you can get out of it, and again, they sound really pretty pretty realistic. Also recently been using Ampire a lot, which is bundled within Studio One. And of course, if you play acoustic guitar, then you want to grab yourself a mic or two, and you can follow one or two of the tuitional videos that I've got on this channel. Moving on to keys and piano sounds, I've done a review of this plugin too. That's Airs Mini Grand. Typically you can find it for about 10 quid or less on offer on the net. It just doesn't blow your socks off, but it does the job. It always seems to just fit into my mixes really easily. Very easy to use, everything you need to get the job done, and just sits in mixes really well. Now, if you want to upgrade that sound, or you want a piano that's going to be much more vocal in the mix, or perhaps it's just a piano voice recording and you want something that's sounding more realistic than Airs Mini Grand, then my personal preference is Excellent Audio's Addictive Keys, the upright module. I think the upright piano sounds really quite realistic. It's got some really nice sort of premium sounds about it, and lots of stuff you can do within it, fiddly mics and stuff, and it's not too expensive. So that's from Excellent Audio, their Addictive Keys. If you're looking for a good organ sound, I'm going back to Air, their DB33. Much like their Mini Grand, you can typically find this sub £10 on some sort of deal online. It sounds great. What I really like about DB33 is it sounds really valvey and saturated already. So much like their Mini Grand, it just seems to work in mixes and slide in very easily. Very good for gluing together electric guitars as well. Sometimes just throwing in that kind of Hammondy sound can really bring everything together. That's DB33. Really recommend giving that a go for your organ sounds. Sticking with keys, but moving on to synths, two great freebies from Yui, Tyrrell No. 6 and Podolsky. Both great sounding synths. Tyrrell's got some fantastic sounds in it, and Podolsky is just fantastic. The presets in Podolsky are fantastic, particularly the arpeggiated presets. I find them particularly useful. It's not over complex to use like some synths can be. It's very easy to work out, and again, those presets sound really fantastic. It's a great synth, so go grab it if you're looking for some quality sounds. Moving on to overdubs, and I want to start with an orchestral plugin, which I think is probably the best free plugin available on the net. And you can grab it from Spitfire. It's typically around £50, but if you fill in a survey and are patient to wait a couple of weeks, they will put it in your inbox for absolutely free. It's the BBC Symphony Orchestra. You've got all the string sections in there and the woodwinds, you've got the percussion, you've got the brass as well. It sounds absolutely fantastic, and that you can grab this for absolutely free is just amazing. It is so realistic, particularly when it's in your band mixes, and that's what this video is about. If you're dropping some strings in, I'm thinking maybe something like Manic Street Preachers, that kind of recording. You've got some rock guitars and you bring your strings in. It just sounds so realistic, and for absolutely free, it's just unbelievable. And sticking with Spitfire whilst you're on their site, well worth checking out Labs as well, which again is absolutely free. It's got lots of different modules, lots of interesting different sounds, which may well be very useful for your recordings, just for those interesting little overdubs which you want to put on towards the end of your recording session. And finally, but sticking with Spitfire, they offer a range of Elements packs for just £29, which are much smaller, broken down versions of their bigger, more expensive bundles. And some of their strings stuff sounds just simply wonderful. I've got their Essential, one of their strings packs for 29 quid, and it sounds just great. I do hope you found this video useful today. They're all plugins which I have used or do use on a regular basis. Of course, they're my favourites, but I'd love you to share your favourites too in the comments box below by sharing just your favourites and your good experiences. It's really going to help beginners who are starting out and wanting to put together a really good bunch of instrument plugins so they can go forward and make their own excellent band recordings in their home studio. My name's Johnny Good for Real Home Studio. If you did enjoy today's video, please remember to like, subscribe, most importantly, have yourself a great day.